Hi everyone, thank you so much for joining us, niching your business, your brand and your website online. Today I have the pleasure to interview Steve S. Smith. He is the owner and founder of Guardian Defense Plan. And Steve, I'm so excited to have you because you're one of few experts I know. Your content and your knowledge and the expertise is just so in depth and so rich that you tap a little bit into and then what comes out is just flowing away. So thank you so much for joining us and just helping us to get prepared to understand what it takes right now to really deal with how the world becomes, and also share a little bit how you became an industry expert and a well-known industry expert. But before we start and I read your bio, just a quick little bit about myself. I'm Dagmar Cattell and I'm an SEO expert, coach and strategist. And I help entrepreneurs to build their authority online and become a worldwide leader in their industry and niche. So let's get started with Steve. So Steve has a very impressive bio, and please allow me to read it because it's so full with great content and great information that I could not repeat it just by sharing that with you in 2 seconds. Guardian Defense offers active shooter training and educational services to staff within schools, colleges and universities, churches and other faith-based organizations, hospitals, businesses and law enforcement. In order to build confidence and save time in the event of an intruder, active killer or other terror attack happens. Guardian Defense was founded in 2013 by current law enforcement officer Stephen S. Smith. Distressed by tragic events over the years in schools and public places, Detective Smith created the ACT Act, Assess, Challenge, and Train school program to give the true first responders, faculty and staff, the confidence to act in a critical incident situation on school grounds until professional first responders, police and fire arrive. So Steve, thank you so much for coming and being with us. So let's get started. So what really was your first thought to create this business? Because you already have an amazing job. So what's your why of starting this?
Well, first and foremost, Dagmar, thank you for having me on this program, and it's really humbling to always be interviewed. It is a true passion of mine and everybody at Guardian Defense to train schools and businesses and law enforcement in this type of crisis. But yeah, to start out, I was always kind of passionate with this type of response and this type of attack. To go back a little bit, I've been a current law enforcement officer for over 9.5 years now. I'm a detective in what we call a threat response unit in the city I work. And I'm also a member of our SWAT team for over 7 years, and currently I'm a team leader and instructor. So I think what kind of separates myself from a lot of different people is that, I remain current in the current trends and training and tactics, and even in the field that I work with in my department, I'm also really attached to the schools, all private schools, public schools. So I'm very up to date on all their procedures and how they're changing and adapting to these types of crises, and not just these, but anything, whether it's a bomb threat or a fire drill and so forth. But how I got to making this program, like I said, I've always been kind of intrigued with this type of crisis. So because it's definitely different than anything else. It's one or two people at the most, and their goal is to create havoc and kill in the masses. So mass casualty incident, and they're not really looking to come out of it alive. So not only was it intriguing for me in the response element as a law enforcement officer, but after Sandy Hook, first and foremost, I'm a parent, I'm a dad. I mean, my wife, that day, December 14th, 2012, sticks out to us just like September 11th. We're sitting at home, very emotional, knowing that we have two young boys sleeping peacefully at night. You can only imagine what's happening over in Newtown, Connecticut. So after that, I knew at that point I have an obligation, and that is I have the training, I have the tactics, I have the experience, not just in law enforcement, but also in the schools, and having that understanding. So we have to deliver some type of response to the people that are being attacked. And when it comes to schools, those teachers and staff, I kind of put it on myself and the people in my industry, in my field, to come out there and do something, because schools have been kind of left behind over the years. These types of incidents, especially at schools, when you look back to the Texas Tower incident in 1966 with Charles Whitman, that incident at a school created SWAT teams nationally. And then you move to Columbine, and after 1999, nationally, it revolutionized law enforcement's response by having rapid response. So you're not waiting for the SWAT team to get there. The first responders and law enforcement, the patrol officers are going in to deal with that threat. And now recently, after Sandy Hook, we're not waiting for a team of officers. They're now training single officer response. But what has happened with schools? Schools have been kind of left behind, and I believe it's our fault, that people who have the knowledge, to give the people within that 10 to 15 minutes of being attacked something to do, instead of just sitting in the corner and waiting. And that's just not going for schools, but what we do for any type of business as well.
Let me stop here. I don't think everybody of our live audience, or in the future of the ones who are listening to the recording, are familiar with Sandy Hook.
Okay.
Just tell us a little bit, because it's a very important moment in your life, and I know in Taylor's life, and it made an impact that you started a company. So just share a little bit more details with us, what really happened there. Sure.
So on December 14, 2012, a gentleman named Adam Lanza came up to the school. And let me back up a little bit. He actually executed his mother at home, and he has had a lot of mental issues, Asperger's, and then drove over to Sandy Hook Elementary, shot his way in through the single point entrance glass door, and then ended up killing 26 people, 20 first graders and 6 other adults. And when you dissect that incident, there's a lot of things that we can learn from it.
He killed
kids. I'm sorry?
He killed 20 kids?
20 first graders, correct. And in a matter of maybe 10, 12 minutes. So when we dissect that incident, certain things, by just having a plan and keeping the door locked in session and learning how your door opens, learning how to isolate and defend that room, secure it, defend it, barricade, and, properly arm yourself with a weapon of opportunity, and then be able to properly place yourself on the correct side of the door and have a plan on the inside with the children and what else they can do, instead of just sitting there and waiting for law enforcement. There's got to be some other type of response plan and action plan that we can give them, and that's what we do. There's a variety of different options, but when you break down Sandy Hook, there's a lot of things that maybe could have saved those children. And again, I'm not criticizing any of those teachers. Actually, those teachers are extremely heroic. If you ever get the opportunity to read that after action report, but we got to do better, and I believe that's on the people in my field to provide some other type of training for them.
Yeah, but because if you think about it, right? So you tell me honestly, if I would be a teacher with these many kids, and I would feel responsible of them, I would try my best, but it doesn't mean I know what I should do, because this has nothing to do with intuition, because I never was in a situation like that. So the risk that I would do something wrong is there. So I can see that many of people would feel in the same way. Many people would feel in the same way, and you don't do it.
Correct. Yeah, and currently schools in particular, what they do is they train lockdown drills, which is great. It's a great foundation start, but they've been doing that now for years and years and years. Mm-hmm. And we need to build upon that. We're not trying to, reinvent the wheel, but we got to master the basics and move upon that and give them some advanced training. Because when it comes to a lockdown, one of the biggest things I've seen is that teachers or people in general get conditioned. And the condition when it comes to this type of crisis is they wait for somebody else to tell them what to do. They wait over the intercom to hear the school go into lockdown. However, what we're trying to breed now is independent thinking. We want them to be able to be more inclined to situational awareness. What's their surroundings? What are they hearing? Orienting themselves to any type of stimulus that they're hearing or seeing, and be able to make their own decisions and determinations, and have a variety of different options in their plan, not just necessarily waiting to be told what to do. So if they just hear gunshots or screaming, they're going to have to react on their own, because in this type of crisis is completely different than anything else. It's not a fire where it's isolated, or a bomb threat, or a suspicious package which is isolated. This type of crisis is mobile, and these individual teachers have to have some type of individualized plan for their room and for their children, because they can't just run away. So that's what we give them. We give them the confidence to now have a plan and empower them to be able to react and actually win this type of scenario.
Right. And you know what, I would be so fearful if I would know that the teacher would wait for a response from the school board or school, whatever, before they would do something with the kids. So it's absolutely necessary that they feel confident enough to act and not to react.
Correct. And a lot of people have never been exposed to live gunfire, and we don't want, part of our training program is that after they go through the lecture, and then they go through some practical exercises, we run a series of different scenarios. And one of our last scenarios that we expose them to shotgun blanks and 38 caliber blanks. And, we build them up, and there's no surprises, and they leave with confidence and empowerment, because there's always a purpose in our scenarios, and we let them know everything prior. There's no surprises. There's no trying to scare anybody. They never see the gun. It's being exposed to what the gunfire sounds like, because what happened at Sandy Hook is that there was actually an alarm. There was an alarm that happened before anybody was killed. And when Adam Lanza shot almost 12 rounds of rifle ammunition through the front glass window, it didn't kill anybody at that time. But what happened was 2 teachers came out of a conference room to see what was that sound. Well, if you've been exposed to that before, you'll be able to orientate yourself to that, and maybe now not go see what the problem is, and now react on the inside of that room and isolate yourself, secure that room, prepare to defend it, and get your first responders there.
Oh, absolutely. Let's talk a little bit about the topic today, become an industry leader, because it's just reality. So more people see you as an industry leader, so bigger is your reach, and so more you can help, because it's all about, when you're in business, helping others, empowering others, and creating a bigger impact. So we both went together through your business process and niching down your business, because as we started working together, you already were an active shooter trainer, and you were already well known in your local area. What would you say did you learn from structuring your business and really niching it to the point? What did you learn about your target market and their needs and what they want to know from you?
When it came to this, I thought we would have a little bit more ease in doing it, and we definitely found that it was a little bit more of a struggle, because even though we might be a leader in our industry, and really not have much competition where we're at, but the active shooter category, that term is so big that we kind of get lost. And honestly, and that's where you came in, and how you helped us tremendously with finding those keywords and being able to bring our target audience to us. So yeah, it was definitely difficult, more so than we thought. And with your expertise, we were able to now be found. So that was one thing I wasn't ready for, but definitely learned from as well, and still needed, definitely keep that hard work, because it's definitely a hot topic, and there's not many good training companies out there. But again, since it's such a hot topic, those keywords are huge. Right.
This, especially in your case, which is interesting, other niches, every niche has different challenges, right? And your niche, the challenge for that is like what you just said, the active shooter. Newspapers use this keyword, active shooter. You have magazines, you have organizations using this keyword, but there's really not a prevention behind it that they would offer a training. It's really all about news and all about staying up to date, but not providing a solution of, okay, so if there's an active shooter incident, what do you do with it?
Right.
That's really, I see, becoming a leader in your industry means people easily know, yeah, you do active shooter training, and for whom do you do it? You do it for schools and colleges and universities and hospitals and churches and businesses and law enforcement. And what amazed me a lot in your niche and in your industry, that it was clearly the demand was there, but your focus was active shooter, where in reality you're the expert for active shooter training. And that's really what I see you now, like nationwide, because you got a call from the what is it, the rifle organization?
From which organization?
Yeah, from the gun organization, the NRA.
Oh yeah, well we're a member of them, so yeah, we spoke to them a little bit as well. So I mean, they're definitely supportive of what we're doing, especially, you know, with my background in law enforcement. And then we also spoke with NPR, the national radio station. But yeah, that was pretty big, and that was actually shortly after you started working with us. I got a call from NPR and was interviewed right after the San Bernardino incident. So yeah, it was definitely a huge you know, outreach to us, and you know, them finding us, which was pretty amazing.
Like, it is a recognition, right? Because one thing is you need to be searchable online, that they could find you, but also, and everybody who's listening, you have to go to the website, guardiandefenseplan.com. You have to read these blog posts. They are amazing. The context, the input, the experience, everything. And that really makes an industry leader, that you don't write shallow blog posts. You don't provide shallow information. Everything has in-depth, like what Steve shares. He shares action plans in his blog posts. He shares step-by-step plans in his blog posts. And that's really, when you want to become an industry leader, you cannot be scared to hold back. And thanks God, Steve is not scared at all. So you cannot be scared to hold back. If you really want to create a bigger impact, you need to be out there, and you need to be ready to receive. Like what Steve just said, when you get a call and they want to interview you nationwide, then you have to have your concept. You need to be ready. So absolutely. Steve, what would you suggest another entrepreneur who is in your shoes and like has a website and has a business, but is not like you, a recognized leader in your industry yet? What should they focus on from your experience?
I think that they should definitely focus on their target audience, making sure who they know they need to reach out to. And then once they figure that out, how they can kind of separate themselves from anybody else. And once they do that, definitely look into, obviously this world now is an internet-based world. And, the cold calling, which I thought, we could just start cold calling, schools and stuff like that, really isn't that practical anymore. So if you're not a tech savvy person like myself, definitely get with an expert like Dagmar and, use her services to get you started. And it is such a benefit and such a help to really get your business rolling, getting recognized, and really then starting to find yourself as a business and understanding, this internet world and how to even outreach to people, not just locally, but nationally and internationally. We just got a call from a gentleman who's in emergency management in Trinidad and Tobago, and they are looking to get us over there into their schools and start providing training. So that was just, within the last couple of days. So yeah, I mean, not just nationally, locally, but internationally. So it's really amazing what, someone in your expertise can do. So that would just definitely be my advice. That's
awesome. Hey, let's just talk about it while you're saying that, because you need to have a unique edge. If you want to become a leader in your industry, you need to have something what makes you stand out. So just share with us what makes you stand out, what makes your team stand out, and how you approach your industry.
Correct. You know, it's funny. I think that we have a lot of different things. The way we stand out, first of all, is the passion that we have. You know, I see a lot of people trying to do what we do, but they lack the experience, and they also lack, I think, the passion. They treat it as a business. Like I said, you know, my wife and I run this business, and we're parents first. You know, I'm a cop, and pretty much that's, you know, really what drives us. And every person on my team is current. And what I mean by that is we're not retired, you know, law enforcement and just trying to keep up with you know, reading materials. We're actually doing it. You know, we're working with this type of crisis and this type of response day in and day out. So that's first and foremost. Definitely another thing that we do differently is every bit of our program is a purpose. Like I said, it's not just a history lesson or just, you know, just teaching something. There's a purpose behind it, and it's not just for the workplace or a school, but it's for your life, because these things are happening anywhere. So it's developing a plan, and what kind of separates us in our plan and our teaching is that we go over stuff like the stress and the physiological effects that are going to be on your body when something like this happens, because it's extremely important to know what's going to happen to yourself physiologically when, you know, an enormous amount of stress overcomes your body instantly and your heart rate goes way up. There's going to be conditions of stress like tunnel vision, auditory exclusion, freezing, and we really break that down and how to get through that and get you back in action and doing something. And then we get into another aspect, which is casualty care, because, you know, what we're also teaching is that you're the first responders. The people who are being attacked in that 10 to 15 minutes, you're it. You know, you're the police, you're the medics, and you need to have a plan, and you got to be ready to defend yourself or have a different variety of options to either evacuate, evade, isolate, secure yourself, and defend yourself. And we really break that down tremendously. And then, you know, if you're injured and or wounded or somebody else is, we teach you how to treat yourself or treat somebody else until those first responders get there, because realistically, if there's still an active threat, those police officers are going to bypass somebody who's injured and go deal with that threat. So you need to know how to treat yourself. And once we do all that, we put into practice. And like I said, once we put into practice, our staff are so passionate and so patient, and, you know, just really empowering these people and giving them confidence to know what to do and giving them a well overall plan.
I know what, I love that you could answer this question, what is your unique edge and what makes you different from your competitors? I love it, because that's key. You can have all the content and the context in the world. You can have the best website ever, but if you have nothing what makes you stand out, right?
Right.
Because it's not the keyword only, like search engine optimization. What I do, I love it because it helps you be searchable. It helps you be foundable. But then you need, on the other side, you need to have great content, in-depth content, but you need to have the unique edge, because if you're on the first page with 10 other companies and everybody writes about the same keyword and has the same stuff, there's no reason why I should click on your website and not on another website. And this is really what you just did with the unique edge and explaining it and putting your emotion and your love in it. That's what makes you stand out above everything else. And that's really what I see industry leaders do. Industry leaders, they're not leading by information. Absolutely.
Right.
Industry leaders, they're not leading by knowledge, because you know what? I can read a book about active shooter training, and perhaps if I read enough books or do enough online training, I would have it in my mind, but I would not have it in my heart. I would have the expertise, and that's what makes an outstanding leader. And like what you said, now Trinidad, right? They contacted from Trinidad. So go to Steve's website, guardiandefenseplan.com, read his blog posts, read his service pages for the different trainings he offers. You can see it. You can see and read it that he has the expertise and he has the outstanding knowledge. And I don't say that only because we work together. I say that because this is not the norm. This is not what I experience with everybody. So this is really what gives you the potential and really gives you the base on being successful and making money in your business.
Right, and you know, another thing that I think separates us is that we don't just come in and do the training and then we wash our hands and we're done. You know, we're invested with that school, with that business, you know, forever. You know, and that's what I tell them. You know, we are going to be there to help them now after we go through this training to now continue their process in training in this type of crisis, with doing announced drills and unannounced drills and building and keep challenging their staff every single day. And if they don't have a active shooter response plan or lockdown procedures, we will then help them build one. So even though we come and do the training, we don't just walk away and we're done. We will continue to assist them. I will go out and actually go to the school or business and review in person their drills without, you know, any additional charge, you know, just because we want to follow up and make sure that they're doing the right thing.
Yeah. And that's another thing what I experienced. If you want to be an industry leader, that's what you need to do. You cannot just do your service. You need to, and help me to find the right English words, not only go out of your way, you need to, what is that, over-deliver? Is that
yeah.
You need to over-deliver, and you really need to show that you care, because then that's what I see, like referral systems work great in this way. When you hold your word and you talk the talk and you walk the walk, like exactly what Steve does. He is here, you go to his website, you can see him on the website, you can see him in his training and his team and his wife. So it's, you become one with what you offer, how you empower others, and how you want to make a difference and create an impact. Like Steve's impact now being invited to go to Trinidad to do the active shooter training there. I think that's an immense recognition on what he's accomplishing and what he's going for, and not only as a business, but as a human being.
Well, thank you. Yeah, I think you kind of hit it right on the head when you said just that you care. And, you know, something that I've seen just with working with you, you've done above and beyond, you know, so, and that definitely motivates, you know, other people as well, you know, yeah. And you don't, I think you're right. You know, it's not the norm, you know, when you go above and beyond for somebody else other than what you're expected to do. And it really, you know, gives you a good name in your field, and, you know, it makes you want to continue to make others better.
Oh, absolutely. And we have only, believe it or not, again, we only have a few minutes left until the end of our show. And what you just said is really what I believe into. You need to want that your client is successful. You cannot focus on you making money. You really need to focus on your client needs to be successful, because then you're successful. And that's how I treat my business. And I know that's how I treat his business. And as an industry leader, he's a great example, because what he said, he's not going into the schools, educating them, and then leaving the schools just with this information or education. He stays in contact with them and helps them to grow, because they need to grow. Like Steve said at the beginning, the schools are left behind. Why are they left behind? Because the value we put in our educational system is not the same what we see perhaps for our business. But these are the leaders tomorrow. So that's really, I believe, is important to guide your clients, to hold their hands and not just taking the money and run.
100% agree.
I see. So we only have a few minutes left. Do you have something special to share with us? Did you bring an offer where schools, universities, colleges, hospitals, or churches, businesses, law enforcement can work with you?
Yes, absolutely. If anybody from this show is in the show contacts us, the first 5 people that contact us, we will do a free review of your school lockdown procedures, your business active shooter response plan. If you don't have those things available, Not a big deal. We will start in that hour putting something together for you, starting your plan right away. So go ahead and email me directly, steve@guardiandefenseplan.com, or go to our website, guardiandefenseplan.com, and click on the contact us button and go ahead and email us, and we'll take care of that for you.
Steve, I heard a little bit of an echo in the back. So what we will do for everybody who's listening, I just typed in Steve's email address, steve@guardiandefenseplan.com. So contact him and just ask him for the special offer again. And I have Steve's special offer, and I will post this into the YouTube account with the video also. So you can check it out, but I would prefer go to Steve first and just connect with him and just ask him. He will share the special offer with you again.
Absolutely.
So perfect. So Steve, thank you so much, and thank you to Taylor too. I so appreciate the opportunity to help you and really empower you, not only to become the industry leader, but really make a difference and make an impact that this unbelievable, horrible topic, active shooter and active killer incidents, becomes less stressful for people, and they can feel more reinsured and they feel more they are prepared for this and can make good and educated decisions about that.
Thank you, and I really appreciate you having me on this program again. And always a pleasure seeing you again, Dagmar, and I really look forward to our team continuing to grow and working together. So thank you for having me.
You're very welcome. And for everybody who's listening, please reach out to Steve at guardiandefenseplan.com and check out his blog posts. They are just amazing, and his expertise and knowledge is totally outstanding. So thank you so much for everybody listening into live and listening to the recording. If you want to connect with Steve also, he has a Plap account. Just go to Guardian Defense and subscribe there, or go to my account, Dagmar Cattell, subscribe there, and just stay connected with us. Thank you so much. Bye.
Thank you. Bye.
Bye.